What's up, everybody? Cole with Coal Miner Customs here. Today we're going to be going over how to engrave on these large cutting boards. This cutting board is at 20 by 15 by 1.5 inch. We're going to be using the S1 40 watt. I'll be giving you all the settings, everything you're going to need to know. So hey, let's get into it. Also, if you'll check that description down below, I also have the machine that we're using, the S1 40 watt, and also the cutting board that we're going to be using in this project as well. Hey, if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. It really does help out the channel. All right, coming over here to the machine, as you can see, this cutting board just barely does fit in the machine. You have just a little bit of room here on the side, but the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our laser and we're going to auto measure, and we want to auto measure probably right here in the center. We're just going to guess where center is and hit that about 2 times so we get a consistent measurement. All right, coming over here to our computer, as you can see, we're going to be using this monogram right here. First thing we want to do is we want to hit auto measure. So that's the measurement that we're coming up with, 0.603. I do want to hit that one more time just to make sure that it is consistent. So this time we're 0.604, so that's pretty close. Okay, once you got the auto measure down, I do also want to mention that I have this honeycomb on the first tier. So it's up on the highest tray, and then the next thing you want to make sure that you do is that you have your cutting board square. So the easiest thing to do is actually just push it all the way up against this railing right here and have this edge of the cutting board just all the way up against it. I do have it shifted over to the right just a little bit, but the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to tape off this area right here. This is where I want to put the monogram right here. So I'm going to tape off this area, and then what I'm going to do next is that I will come in and use my marked process area, and we'll hit the corners, and then that will lay out where we're going to engrave on the program. Okay, what I've done next is I've actually masked off using this blue tape. I pulled a measurement from here to here, which is going to be 5 inches, and then from here to here is 8 inches. So what I'm doing is I'm actually creating a box that I'm going to put my design in. So when we do the measurements and we actually do the mark process area, I'm going to put my first point here and then my second point here. So this will give me this box on the program. Okay, now we're going to mark the processed area. So I'm coming to this point first. I'm going to mark it. And now we're going to come over here to this corner. And we're going to mark right here. So that should give me a measurement on my computer where we're going to put the design at. Now coming back over here to the program, this is going to be the image that we're using. So once you get your measurements down that you're wanting to use for this, and then in this case, how we have this measured out is going to be a 4.6 by 3.3, roughly almost 3.4. But what you want to do is you want to put it inside the mark process area that you wanted to do. Now, of course, we could make this a little bit bigger. We could stretch it out and make it a little bit taller. But this is the measurement that we're going to go with. But the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to frame this out and make sure that it's within the area that we've marked out. The next thing you'd want to do is go ahead and hit framing and make sure it's going to engrave where you want it to. So I'm actually satisfied with that. The next thing we want to do is then check our engraving settings. All right, we're going to check our settings. For this, we are using power at 70%, speed at 200, it's grayscale, and then lines per centimeter is going to be 100. Now this type of wood, which is called, sometimes I don't know how to pronounce it correctly, I think it's acacia wood. It actually engraves really well. For this setting, it is a little bit deeper engraving and a little bit hotter, I guess you could say, and it will give you more of a darker look. Now, if you wanted a lighter look, probably 50%, but we've done these several times, and 70 and 200 seems like it works out the best. Okay, we're going to come over here and hit process. This should give us an estimated time of how long this is going to take. It's saying right at 7 minutes. So I always just suggest double check everything, reframe it, make sure that it is within the area that you want it to engrave. Once you do all that, double check your settings as far as the power, speed, and so on and so forth. So we're going to hit start. Come over here to the machine, and we're going to let it engrave. I do want to mention that we do have our air assist on auto, but we also too have this external fan that helps with drawing out a lot of this smoke, because if you're doing a lot of wood projects, you do probably want to invest in one of these external fans. It just helps out with the smoke buildup, because if not, you start getting a lot of smoke buildup in here, and it's really hard to see your project going on. Okay, now that it's done engraving, I do apologize for the fan. It's still going, so it's still drawing out some of the smoke. So next thing what we're going to do is we're going to take off the tape here, and then we're going to clean this up. We're going to use probably LA Awesome. It works the best. Put a little bit on a rag, and then we'll wipe this down, and it'll get rid of the soot on the outside of the design. Hey guys, if this video was helpful for this project, give us a thumbs up. And also too, check out that description down below. We'll have all the settings, the board that we're using, and the machine. We'll see you next time.